If anything, this tournament is like proof that Paladins esports could have been more than what PPC was by like a
Oh,
long
for
shot.
sure.
We could put on our own land. Fuck it.
We have currently another tournament first being hovered.
Ooh,
And it would be very
spicy.
surprising. Not
Moji.
even no.
Hey, thank you so much for the gift.
Dredge, it's Dredge.
And because of this, Prosper's gonna have to play tank.
It could be Dredge.
It's Dredge.
Shaw. That's weird.
Pretty standard for absolutely everybody.
5, 4, 3,
Something to note.
2.
I absolutely think that Alex's comp just dominates here.
Yeah, I can see that being the case. So far, they're trying to push it. Oh my goodness, what a cripple axe. In Banana immediately. And they lose somebody on point? Wait, somebody's dying on point. Like, so somebody's getting burnt immediately? Yeah, that's the Terminus. The minute that he ended up going to the objective, he just struggled. And Etsugo is the first to go down.
That's right. We saw a huge wrap from Sophia. And it started with that huge Grover root that got the shadow below half, and then they just full wrapped with the
My goodness.
Massive dash from Robin. I think he gets the shot pick here for a quick little double. It looks like they're going to clear up that fight and take lead of this.
They are running it down. This takes running it down to a whole new meaning. It's a whole new definition at this point. You have the Terminus siphon up. They're obviously trying to keep eyes on Rom. He's the one all the way in their spot. No, he lived longer than he should have.
Basically, everybody on each side here is like trying not to get dismounted and keep, and it's like almost impossible.
Yeah, it's definitely something you have to be a little bit more cautious of. This is going nowhere. Tiberius is going to concede that and make sure that he just gives up that sort of high ground control just for a little bit. He's going to take a more passive angle than anything. They actually force up the Whirlwind just to be sure and just to be safe, if anything. Runs to the wall, just wants to keep hold of that DR, uses the Cataclysm as well. They manage to catch it, but nobody else is there to sort of follow up. So the Cataclysm sort of just doesn't work. Like, it just goes wide for the most part. They do get the kill on Alex. Mathers is there to obviously sweep that one up. And everyone else is sort of spread out for the most part. They use a Terminus dive, but it's still not going to be much. Yeah, I mean, that's just like the overall consensus of like Tiberius, right? He's going to spam around that corner. Obviously, you're going to get hit by majority of the stuff that he's throwing. So with that being the case, and it forces out the ice block a little bit early, but they're not giving up or conceding that high ground. They don't know the Shaolin's in the back here, though. He misses the cripple arrow. That's actually pretty huge, especially against somebody like Victor. He's going to be able to reposition in a good enough way, and they even get the pick off of that. Alex immediately misses the cripple arrow, and it's devastating for them. They lose their teammate because of that.
That's right, yeah. So Sophia now has the upper hand in this fight, and Octavia's just trying to stall for time. Might have to use an Ashel to just try and keep stable on the mid. The Term's gonna look to take high ground here, take a little bit of space away from the ZB, and seems like that's going pretty well. Nozi's having a tough time getting to any sort of poke here.
Yeah, Nozi is mainly getting out siphon diff is how I would describe this one as he blinks in. Obviously gets the hit, blinks right back out. Cataclysm goes through. It manages to hit the Ash, but once again, there's nobody that's around to sort of take advantage of that. He tries to stand, but he's standing directly on top of her. So she's going to be able to move forward from that point on. She's able to at least able to get the kill. They're going to hold on to the res for now, and Sophia turned this into a 2-0 so far over Octavia in our first best of 5 in winners finals. And it's just been a sort of back and forth, not as easily. It's like definitely one of those one-sided tug-of-war matches. If anything, they're fighting back, but it's not as effective. This might be the change that they're looking for. They have the assert dominance. They're just stalling. They're just waiting. They want a better opportunity to use the assert dominance. They forced out the cooldowns. They don't try and commit to anything too far yet, but beautiful shot as well. Brings up the binoculars, tries to see if he can cause the barrage to happen, but doesn't even work out. The Dread Serpent is used. They use the Whirlwind as well. They're just keeping everybody alive on the side of Sophia, canceling out everything except for that assert dominance. He has to find some sort of way out. Divine Grip goes through and manages to escape, but King Nick dies again to Alex just off of respawn. He manages to land it, turns around and lands the shot. Lucky with another Alex with the triple kill. And that's 66% to 45. This is looking like a clean cut and concise dub on this point. And even body blocks. If they get the cripple to stop the run, they even get the body block to stop him from causing overtime. That is a point awarded to Octavia.
I think Alex essentially carried that mid, and I want to see more picks like that.
Yeah, so right now, Alex, and you mentioned his name. Hey, say his name 3 times in the mirror, he'll show up like Bloody Mary eventually. Just eventually, because he ends up getting the kill on Grover. You got to be careful wherever you utter his name, because evidently he's popping off. He's making it work for him. A 7 streak. He's still leading the charge here in terms of the amount of picks they've been able to get. He's popping off and he's doing well. It allows Rom sort of just sit back and try and wait. He's going to run in, try to take a more aggressive angle into this. His Cataclysm's almost up, which is why he wants to take that fight. But that spam around the corner is hurting. It's hurting. He's not peeking to be able to get any shots off. He moves in, but it still isn't going to be able to convert that into any usable or useful positioning.
Oh my god, those headshots. And the reason we mentioned the Shah so much is he's so much of the anchor for this comp. You know, he is the anti-Rom, anti-Eevee. So he's the anti-aggression for the entirety of Octavia here.
He manages to obviously just keep control of this high ground. It's hard for them to push past it. You're dealing with an Ashe shield, and even though it's not the most prominent shield, it's still one that you have to respect. He tries to make his way out. His Terminus was already brought pretty low, thanks to the Eevee positioning.
I think this term siphon it's doing so much work.
Yes, yeah. They've been sort of stalled here on the push. They can't quite convert this into meaningful positioning or any sort of a zone. They're getting the health pools necessary, but Alex dying first and losing the engage up top is going to be the telltale story here. They blink in right on past the Ashe. The cripple was there, so she couldn't shoulder bash her way out of that one. So they just turn around, find whatever positioning they can, and obviously make use of it. Dives right on in. Trying to see if they can get the final kill. They won't be able to. The heal's going to be a little bit too much. But they make this a 3-1 on the side of Sophia. They were at least able to capture 1 point at the most in the mid. And that was mostly thanks to Alex. But even still, there's only so much one man can do. Not saying that the rest of the team isn't pulling their weight. But even still, it's more of the fact that they quite aren't able to find better opportunities for themselves. You drop the dome shield there. What is wrong? What are they going to be able to do here? They use the Cataclysm in the back. Alex manages to find the kill, though. That's one on Nosy. Ron might already be in a bad enough spot because he gets stopped, stunned, but he's still going to be able to make the run. He escapes despite all the odds here. And Etsu's obviously on point. He has his reanimate. He's going to try and use it this round to prevent them from obviously taking this one. They have comeback mechanic on the side of Octavia, so they have
comeback mechanic and 3 ults.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some of their biggest ults too, you know, they have the Term ult, they have the Ashe ult, and I don't think there's much resale on the side of Sophia, so it actually could be huge.
And then so far with 54% already available, he gets lasered down, but of course he has that res, keep things a little bit more interesting. Plants the banner, heed the call, the charge is on. They manage to get Mathers, they manage to get Nosy, and over time is now ticking down slowly but surely. Rom makes it in. He gets the touchdown. Measures cause overtime. He even steps on point for a little bit longer. It's going to cause not another overtime. It's going to cause the Octavia to get that point capture and make it a 2-3.
I'd like to see them give out these ultimates online. They have right now. I think they want to try and go for the earliest converge that they can. They really just need to use fear almost ASAP here.
Immediately. Seems like things are going pretty well. Mathers manages to get singular kill. Well, manages to die, excuse me. And of course they land the cripple arrow immediately onto Rom. They're slowly changing things around for the better. Now this is the telltale story here. How do they make this work for them? They've been stalled out multiple times up on this high ground. They managed to get a pick on Rom here. That might be for all the better, but it seems like FRZO is the one that's going to get taken out. They try and make their way around. They're maneuvering, weaving, dodging, doing what they can. Nosy needs to stay alive, and he does. It forces the rest of them back. They already lost a member on their team. They have to stall until the Maldamba returns.
But Octavia doesn't really want to use ults at this point because they're not gonna gain them back in time, and especially not having them with a 3-3. But there we go, a huge pick onto the Eevee from the Tiger, and looks like they're really gonna try and push us in here.
Beautiful cripple. Beautiful cripple acts as well, managing to make sure that they lock everybody down that's peeking this angle. They don't have the cripple arrow this time to try and stop their Rom. They do now. With nothing available to him, he tries to use the Cataclysm, but the movement is a little bit too much for him to handle. He lands the cripple arrow. He gets the kill. Etsu goes down as well. We're looking at a 1-for-1 trade. This is now a 4v4. The ice block manages to put a stop to the cripple arrow, but we're still going free as they're still fighting back on the high ground. King Nick gets another kill on Alex, and that changes everything around. The rest of Octavia have to back up. They have one more fight left in them to see if they can convert this point, but if Mathers dies here, that might be a different story. It doesn't seem like that's going to happen, so they're just going to reset.
So if Octavia decides to just give this cart, they're really looking good for the next mid.
Toss up the snake. Snakebite manages to get the damage necessary. Etsu is not going to try and reanimate here. They're just going to let this one go. This round goes kaput. Yeah, it seems like right now, though, that they have a very substantial ult economy on the side of Octavia. They're going the pre-fire spam around the corner into Banana, seeing if they can stop anything. As Victor makes his way around, most of them have managed to push through and managed to take heat, but they've dropped the dome shield. I don't think Mathers is going to be able to live for much longer. He does, and Etsu finds that kill, and they lose their point take already. The dome shield is no longer a factor either, as there's a bunch of low health pools on the side of Sophia. Their 2 DPS, both Victor and Eevee are pretty low. He's trying to land the shots. Alex finds 2, blinks in, blinks out. Goes the Eevee. They're not going to be able to find the kill there, but they're at least able to keep the pressure. It forces out the whirlwind and enables them to keep a little bit more aggression on Team Octavia. A beautiful
Oh my
barrage.
God.
Wow, what a barrage.
Incredible barrage. They're taking out the support for Octavia. Octavians, they're going to have to lose space here, and it's going to look like a little bit of free cap for Sophia while they wait for the Damba to come back off mount, but they do have Ulcerite. You know, Sophia's just now getting up the ROM ults, but Octavia, they have the Fear, they have the Tigreal, and they have the Turmoil. All so good for fighting this mid.
Yeah, they're still trying to free-fire around corners. They blink in. Etsu makes that work for him. He has to use the res here, uses the Fear to see if he can make it work for them. He's not going to be able to find a Cataclysm. Nobody else was able to touch.
I mean, it's what King
The
Nick
Willow
on the
Pick is
Andrew.
actually
The Willow Pick is
good.
huge.
Is
The Willow Pick
Prosper-
is huge.
So
Oh,
good
Prosper's
here.
just tanking, isn't he? Prosper can't play Tiger or Maeve here, so Prosper, hopefully he was... What is that?
Totally
Can't
the real Hi-Res Studios. Thank you.
Thank you, Totally
Hell
the Real Highway
yeah.
Studios, for the $5.
Oh yeah.
I deserve...
I love the fact that you brought up the Willow Pick as well, because it's like, not only does it counter Damba Gourd, even with half shell, it's still like his main attention. The Gourd's probably just going to go to Prosper for the most part. Like, I mean, obviously it's going to change like situationally, but typically like you toss the Gourd out on somebody like the point tank or any people that are grouping up, and then like you right mouse with anybody else that might need it. You pretty much
Thank you for the
focus
dollar,
on
Willow.
Willow, yeah. You're not getting one. Don't ever ask that again.
In
Jimmy,
loving honor.
thank you. Over 3,000 earns.
Oh,
Thank you.
man.
Thank you.
what?
Thank you so much for over $3,000 now.
Good luck, Fawn.
Okay.
You should have done something
Alright.
easy like a pissy shitty sweatshirt.
I should have. Now I gotta find a size, bro. Okay.
And that's $2,000 until I get tattoo.
Yeah, absolutely. Once again, though, I mean, like this has been working out pretty well for them on the side of Sophia in terms of fights, but look at the percentage, Frog. 84% to nothing. They haven't even been able to touch.
They lost the Nando so early there, so Barrick has just been free capping this entire time while the rest of his team made space. It was just tragic.
Obviously, with Tiberius, he's spamming around corners. I think this is like one of the better maps where he could do that, you know? Like, there's so many angles where they can hide, but also like not get as heavily punished for it, and this is one of those angles. Like, look at that.
Oh my
He's getting,
God, that
he's
Tiger
chunking
angle.
damage. Yeah, he's chunking damage, and Willow got tagged a lot of that time. 500 apiece. That's no easy task.
And this is why we saw Ladgy so fucking prominent on the damage charts last game, is literally just, it's this poke that's so strong. And I think we've definitely seen so far this game why the Damba is such a, I think it's been picked almost every game that it's been up in this entire tournament, if not every game. It's really putting in the work here. Like, his team is basically full the entire time. Whereas the Grover team they're struggling to keep up.
They definitely have struggled for the most part. As of right now, Etsu manages to get the hook. Big hook onto the Androxus. Etsu pushes right on in. Makes it hard for anyone to take advantage of that positioning. Unfortunately, the ultimate does not come through. They do manage to get a 2v2. Well, this is looking like a 3v3 right now, but they have the advantage of their spawn. Sophia has their members more readily available than Octavia does because of how far up they are.
Yeah, and Sophia's comp is really good for holding this. Oh my God, the crazy hook on the Willow. That's gonna be a pick. I was just gonna say Sophia's comp is really strong on the high ground here for holding this last choke, but just like that, Koa destabilizes them, gets the big hook on the Willow, and it looks like they're gonna start to
Oh,
converge.
beautiful
Oh, but out
overpower
comes
as
the
well.
overpower.
They keep themselves alive just for a few more moments. Etsu gets tossed off of this side here. They have the anti-rage, they have the Tiberius ult, they have the blade dance, obviously, and they have the dome shield available to him. Manages to snap his fingers, and the health bar is going to be dissipate. Prosper Logic manages to get the kill there. I think that's due to the leap to the turret, which is him managing to weapon shot him. If anything, they're finding plenty of damage. The combat trans playing a huge role. Willow can't withstand much more damage, and that's going to be a 2-0 for Octavia. Now, The Chronos too. Interesting. I mean, obviously that's sort of to get half shell to where it used to be before the nerf, right? I mean, that's what I'm imagining he has that for, correct?
Oh, yeah, it is definitely. Look how fast that half shell drops, though. Sophia just eats at the high ground. Wow. So
oh, beautiful Immortal. I love that because it forces Prosper out. He has to try and reposition, but they're already in a good enough spot. The Fade Flight is not going to allow him to be midnighted. So the ultimate goes wide here. Pushing in, he has possible Ancient Rage now, and he does. He goes for it just to make sure that he can keep himself alive more than he wants to be aggressive with it at 50% for Sophia. Octavia having a 2-0 so far.
Yeah, Sophia had beautiful counter aggression on that mid, just trying to take advantage of comeback mechanic as much as they possibly can. Gonna look for the accursed arm, doesn't really find anything, but a little bit of damage on the barrack, and it looks like he's not gonna be able to be the one to pull the next touch. Sophia, a lot of cap time here, but the fear comes out, finds a pick. Oh, but this barrack just can't live on this mid.
They can't, but there are too many people that already died, so the overtime timer had already dissipated.
I do want to see the Fade Flight come out pretty early here. Like I mentioned, they really have no consistent counter for it. So, you know, it's kind of huge. Knowing the Mave is completely out of cooldown, so there we go. We hear the Fade Flight.
Nice.
And it's going to be making a lot of space on this Tiger, zoning them back to their spawn already with over a minute and a half to go to push this card in on the side of Sophia.
Drops down the half shell, pulls him up into the bridge, but the reversal allows him to live to fight another day. This Willow is tearing apart Etsu, is tearing apart the Bakoa and the Mave. It's hard for them to try and even fight back in a situation like this. That half shell is continuously getting burnt. Goes down, and Etsu still tries to fight back if anything, gets the hook, tries to retreat, and he actually manages to make it out. Nobody's able to get that last hit on him on a pixel of health. Etsu escapes, and it actually forces the rest of Sophia away.
It looks like they're all going to start going for a push now.
Seems like for right now that everyone's sort of biding their time. The Dread Serpent might be the start of things to come as Etsu moves in and gets the hook directly onto the Androx. The reversal keeps him alive. The half shell is going to get burnt almost instantly. They're looking for an opportunity to kill him, but he's not going to go down. Not without taking care of King Nick. Exu in the back. Still going to try and keep the pressure going on. Ancient Rage gets popped. They're still swinging if anything. Gets the hook off. And manages to get the double kill. Prosper Logic finds another. There's no one remaining that can end up touching the objective. You can try and go over there. The Willow can try and move, but it's just not going to be a thing. Knows he's going to get taken out. 10 seconds remaining. I like that we're seeing the Willow and Makoa matchup again, because I think this brings in lieu of the fact that we were talking about this matchup yesterday when we were more concerned about it, the dead zone being a factor here. It's not so much here because the map's way wider and we're seeing him tear apart a lot of different people. They're breaking the shield way easier and forcing things out away from Etsu. And he has to give up this high ground already afforded. He uses the Immortal, beautiful way to pop it because they're able to keep their positioning, hold on to what they have. But the hook goes out and manages to get King Nick. They find it, but the Whirlwind manages to clutch things through as well. You have to find some sort of way out if you're the Fernando, and he does. He gets healed. The dead zone gets dropped on Alex. Looking for better positioning and opportunities. Alex is waiting in the miss here. 90% already available to him. They're looking for something that could end up taking them home. 93% still as Alex flies into the back line. He's going to get picked off and killed. Sophia's still on the point. Overpowered. Get over here as FRZO is going to get taken out soon after that. 42% for Sophia with comeback mechanic. And I don't think Octavia have a chance in hell to be able to make it back.
That is the nature of comeback mechanic, especially on Serpent when Sophia's all out of ults, but they could possibly get the Tiger ult touch, and they do, and they still have the fear up available to get the. Oh my God, they did the fear up. Does it pull any picks?
What happens? Even here, they're still not going to be able to make it. They still make it back to the objective, and they don't really do much in lieu of that. So Sophia still gets, they still get the point, they still cap it, and it still works out for it. I'm used to PPC where they have a situation where like Freeze God and FR and Friezo were in the same game. So I just called him FRZO. Like that's what happened. And then the casters also did it, and I was like, okay, cool. Okay, I'm used to PvP, ha ha ha. Anyway, yes, I know it's all. You have a minute and 35 seconds remaining.
He's just finding so much space for his team, so much of this counter aggression into the Andrew Wilcom, just like that. Right what I'm talking about.
Man.
This guy is popping off with the hooks.
Yeah, that's it. He's trying to spam around the corner, see if he can get dismounts. and he doesn't quite find much. I can't say the same for Nosy, though. He manages to take out Alex. He has overpower. I know that's what he's looking for. That's why he's over here in the first place. He's trying to see if he can get anybody. Or Etsu, excuse me, has to be one of the ones he goes for here, I would imagine. Or really, it's 2 to 3, so he might even hold on to it for a little while longer. Depends on how the rest of this fight goes. They're definitely going to need it for the final point take. This is going to get rolled right on in. Mathers getting picked means that it's a little bit less likely. They toss more of the daggers out. They don't quite find much to benefit it. You got 5 seconds remaining on the clock, and nobody else can really nobody else is going to try and go into touch, I should say. Either they can, they're not going to try. So they're going to let Octavia take this round and end the score at 3-2. This is like, they've been winning, they've been doing great. Sophia has been doing great at adapting their mid fights to work for the better. Taking full use of that combat mechanic. And now that the score is 3-2, they have half combat. For those of you that don't know, I'm going to go ahead and Fawn's PP.
Fawn's PP for the $1. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
You're gonna need $1 million if we really want to see.
I appreciate the donation. Thank you, my people. I appreciate that. If anything, Mathers is here pushing up by sewers. They have Immortal already available to them, so I imagine they go straight to the objective. They use the Dome Shield and pop the Immortal. They know exactly what they were looking for here. Just trying to hold on in whatever ways that they can. Barrett has to back up and find some sort of way out. Fear goes through Beautiful Whirlwind to be able to counter that. They want to hold their ground here. They managed to get 1 kill. That's the first one. Prosper falls. How much more will they be able to find from this? A Cursed Arm. Pop shots twice. And you're not really going to be able to get much of anything. King Nick finds the damage, but not going to be able to find the kill here. He's still trying to find more and more of an opportunity for him to fight. Obviously, he's finding the shots here on the Etsu. They're going to be killed, and Fernando's not going to go down. Prosper makes it back, and it's going to be even harder.
Wow, this is it's a lot of aggression from Sophia. And I think this is exactly why we've seen them winning so many mids, is that they've been using their ultimates so well. We saw the quick overpower, and we saw Octavia try and answer back with a Koa that just got burnt so hard through results. And exactly like this. Octavia might be looking at a comeback here. Alex getting a clean pick, and we get to see the Fade Flight come out from the side of Sophia. But I don't think No's gonna be able to live very long. Barely lives with over 100 HP on their L. Both tanks fighting on the mid. As long as one of these guys dies, it looks like the other team caps the mid.
99% to 96. Prosper backs up, and overtime is a factor, obviously, so they're going to make use of that. And that's who's going to take his turn, stepping on the point. Nico with the $100 donation.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Paladins charity fundraising. Thank you so much. Sophia, capture the point. That one's to you, buddy. Thank you so much for the $100 donation. Much love to you and everyone that is in the chat watching and paying attention. You guys mean so much to us. You don't even know. Trust
Guys,
me.
we can't
There's
say
only so many
anything
times-
bad about the game from here on out. I'm so no, absolutely no shit talk from this point forward.
We can't be mean to Hyros.
That's like my thing, though.
They're still looking. They're still looking around. Still trying to find certain things available to him. Grover gets healed. Manages to live for a little bit longer. Alex finds the daggers. He gets good damage in the con, but not going to find much. That whirlwind going to make sure that this fight goes more so towards their way. As Sophia find the kill. Tiberius, aka Logi, in the back, spamming around the corner, trying to see if he can find anything. The overpower. You got to be careful when you're peeking the angles. Immortal, just to make sure that they don't end up focusing down the con. They get the kill, but more than anything, he gets the grab, tosses him off. Etsu dies right on there.
They fucked up with that hook. They fucked up with that hook.
He didn't get
Such
the
a
fucking
big
ult.
hook.
He didn't get the fucking ult.
Such a massive hook.
He had Koa ult, but then he hooked Khan to the high ground.
Yeah.
And shield dropped at the same time that he got grip. He got insta burn. He didn't even get the time to get off his ult. But if he didn't hook the Khan in there, he contested for longer. Plus he gets his ult off. Things might have been different.
Yeah.
Just because Ruckus isn't typically like a dominating pick on Jag.
Oh my god, if this last pick gets locked, there's no fucking way, but if this last pick gets locked, I'm gonna nut.
Moji?
No, it's not.
Finally?
Moji.
You think I'd be excited about Moji?
Moji would be banger here.
I want a Moji game. I really want a Moji game.
Moji would be actually so good here.
Moji. This is Jag. This is the Moji map. It's good into all of those things that they have.
Ashults.
Dude,
Pick
Stremex
Yeah,
versus
eat the
Stremex
Moji,
versus
then
Pain.
eat the Ashul.
Stremex Pain is 1-1. On the other side of the
Oh,
bracket,
boy.
Webby
Wait, really?
69 Wabo has taken a map. Oh, okay. All right. Hey, guess what, guys?
What is it?
They did it.
Dredge? It's Imani!
Oh, that's actually
wow,
that's a
man.
good
Yeah,
pick.
that
That's
makes
a good
sense.
pick.
Another
That's
tournament
actually a
first.
good pick.
So Imani ult is really, really good counter aggression here until you know that she could still just get wrapped on and ran at by Tiberius ult or even just
Sorry,
dash plus
I have to
ult
cut you
or
off to
Fury
go into
mobility.
game. I know this is
Yeah.
a visual bug, but why is Imani so small?
Whoa!
In the crowd?
Whoa!
Why is Imani so
When
small?
did they add crouching to
Whoa.
Paladins?
Why is she so little?
Whoa! She's so tiny.
She's why is my Sign Arena POV?
Sino POV, let's go.
I can't believe Sino plays like this all the time.
Oh,
Alright guys, it's winners finals. We might be seeing a team go to the grand finals so Sophia can take it.
To
We will send it
700
down
people.
to we will
roasting
send it
Sign
over
Arena.
to Frog and Fawn.
Even the mount, we're just watching the mount's belly.
Yeah, what's going on with this?
Let the battle begin.
This is oh please switch somebody else. Okay, thank you. I
Somebody less short.
could not. I could not. I was already
Oh,
hurting
she's
my
right.
okay,
She's
there
regular
we go.
height now.
She's fine. She's regular height now.
Y'all think they want
Putting
Rizzo?
Ice Imani, which I think is the pick. That's usually what I go
Yeah.
right now. People will argue that Mana Rift is also the pick, but I think on a smaller map like Jag, it's definitely Splitting Ice.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with you as well. I mean, like, they'll be playing a lot of closer corners. The bounce will get a lot more value. And you have a lot more situations where you're going to be able to skirmish a lot more often. And Mana Rift is not one of those talents that allows you to skirmish like that. Already have the Inferno Cannon. That's burning down that barracks. Gotta be careful. Frost Bomb roots all four in the small area out there by Waterfall, out there by Sun. My goodness.
You can't fight the Imani there. You just can't fight the Imani there.
And this is what I was talking about. Here comes another Frost Bomb.
Oh my god.
Immediately roots the barrack again. This is what we were talking about. And I love this pick too, because I'm saying that, like, it's a closer quarters map. The Frost Bomb gets huge value and it shuts down their movement. Well, they end up getting killed, but it's still a huge Frost Bomb. They get Logi off
Can we
the
see the
back of
damage
that.
charts already?
Yeah, can we see how much damage she's done already?
Oh
She's
my, yeah,
topping it.
already so ahead. She's dead right now.
She's topping it. And the thing is that they have to group up for the most part, because of the fact that they're running like the double healer. They can't afford to be off by themselves. They'll get picked off easily.
Dragon already.
Wow, that's one of the fastest dragons I've ever seen,
nuts,
actually. She already has dragon and it's tearing through. She's making good on the damage in the barrack, but even still, that's crazy. Oh, she goes right to the beam, but that's okay. She still lowers Etsu, and the rest of her team is also following up. I love this pick.
And I do see some people in chat saying that they think Mana Rift is better, but I'd have to hard disagree and say that I think Splitting Ice was the pick for this map. This map into that comp, I think it was definitely the pick. Imani's Dragon with the 5.
Dragon. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'll be dragging these nuts across your forehead.
The $5 equivalent to the amount of screen time, the amount of seconds that dragon had on screen when it got used, if anything. Thank you so much for the sub. Oh, not the sub, excuse me, the donation. I appreciate that more than anything. But even
You know,
still,
way less subs today. I think everyone realized that none of the sub money goes to
I
donations.
could only wish that Imani's Dragon was a subscriber to me. Could only wish.
An analytical perspective right here. You see how far back she is. She's not going to be staying still. She's only back there because they're pushing main for the most part.
Yeah.
You see them up close. She's never going to stay in one spot. These are skirmishing fights. They're already battling back and forth. That's the type of map that Jag offers. She's not going to find a good enough position where she's going to need to stay in one spot, because since everybody's so close together, she's going to end up dying a lot quicker. And so she has to stay on the move. And so Mana Rift does not benefit her, in my opinion. So I'm also agreeing with you on this, Frog. In the long run, I think it's way better that she has Splitting Ice, because they're shredding through shields well as well.
Yeah, and what we're seeing so much is just this huge poke value from Sophia in general. Even if they're not able to converge that point, I just uncontested space in terms of poke between.
We have seen the Imani Dragon before. I mean, I don't think that people are going to dedicate Bulldozer to it. I think it dies pretty quickly regardless. We might see a little bit of Bulldozer like here or there, but I've heard that typically it's not really worth it to get Bulldozer as often to get into Imani Dragon, because it dies pretty quickly if people turn and burn it well enough. And even still,
it's comp dependent for sure. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Dragon's coming out. Speaking of which the name, and it shall appear. It's burning through. It gets a little bit of damage, but it's not much. But it's not much value. in terms of the ultimate. It does force them back a little bit, tosses out the
Space
Frost
Mage.
Bomb, and manages to bounce the ice as well. I mean, it's working. They're forcing them back. The Inferno Cannon lets it rip, and it's becoming harder and harder for them to really position, because every time they group up, they get punished by Frost Bomb, and when they aren't grouping up, then Inferno Cannon pretty much tears apart anybody that's by themselves. So it's hard to play into, but they have a 60% lead so far, and Ash has assert dominance. I imagine she goes in really soon with this. Yeah, she has to use it to try and zone them out, but Khan ultimate is up soon at the most.
Nosy has just been playing incredible all day. We do hit the overpower onto the Ashe there, and just like that, I mean, Sophia just instantly cleans up that fight in what felt like just a matter of a couple seconds. It's going to be a tough retake on the side of Octavia here, especially being that they only have the Tiger ult, which really can only be used for touch.
That was an absolutely wonderful Immortal as well. Not only did it keep them in good control of the point, it allowed King Nick to be able to benefit, getting the 2 kills that he was able to get with that. He tries to touch to at least make something worthwhile, but he uses the Whirlwind, just pops it, cancels it early. Nothing wrong with using it because you get that refund back. That's the new change.
Yeah, that was a great change.
It really was. It's also something that I thought that he needed way before double support meta. Now it just makes him more impressive, but I thought he needed that before. Like, I thought it really.
Yeah, it always felt so bad to just pop Grover ult and then insta-die. And then, you know, then you're just sad. Oh my god.
Wait, the dragon. The dragon might be huge here. They find one. They find a second one. That's a triple kill. Oh, the dragon. Imani comes through and manages to net this point off the back of a 1v3. She takes it for Sophia to make it a 2-1.
Wow, if that dragon didn't pick that Damba and the Damba contested for half a second more, they won that mid. But Sophia takes it. And everybody on the side of Octavia is so sad.
Imani's halfway there back to her next dragon, but I think the Whirlwind is the big factor here. He might have to pop it soon to try and save Fernando. He's not going to, or be able to, I should say. Inferno Cannon rips again. The rest of them have to retreat. On the clock, you have the Accursed Army. He's playing behind the tree. He's looking for an opportunity. Assert dominance on the right side by the stairs. Goes for the overpower. Manages to land it. There's the counterplay. And she's taken care of. The Inflame just to try and make things work with the huge Frost Bomb into the back line. Catches 3 of them. The last 2 remaining are the 2 supports. They have to slither their way back on in to the spawn doors. The Imani Dragon is there and will be ready soon. There it is. That's why I mentioned it. I knew it was coming, just to make sure that they can zone things off. The dragon breathes fire, but might be up a little bit too high. Beautiful spot as well. I like that. If they got their shooter, that definitely was huge.
Oh my god.
Frost Bomb, dude. It catches them once again. On a map like Jag that benefits them so heavily, they use the Immortal to counter the Dome Shield as well. Friezo goes down. They use the Frost Bomb, tries to see if they can catch him off guard. Etsu stalling for as long as he can, but that's a double kill for the Imani. The rest of the team has also been putting in the work as Sophia make this a 3-1 on Jaguar Falls. He loves Imani, and I'm so glad to see her here because we were talking about how often that like we feel like she should be picked up more. And I feel like on a map like Jag, she has huge value into a composition like this. It really shuts down all of their mobility options with the Frost Bomb. It forces them to get a lot of early resil. They need to prioritize that CC reduction with the resilience. So because of that, it forces them into a lot of these precarious positions where they have to back up, they have to group up because they're too worried about getting picked off. They still have to worry about the Andro, they still have to worry about the other members of the team. Even though Imani's what we're talking about, it's still important to pay attention to the Andro, it's still important to pay attention to the Grover because he's gonna hurt too. Like everyone on the team, this benefits the composition really well, and the Whirlwind makes it even more so better as you have 31% on the ultimate for Androxus. He used 2 shots of it, but he's still able to get it back.
And we are going to see overpower starting to come online for Sophia, and the Fury ult from Octavia. Take it away, Vaughn.
Yeah, it seems like for right now that they use the Inflame, they put up the reversal and make sure that they keep the pressure on. They have the overpower. They have plenty of opportunities to see if they can fight the overpower. This might be huge. They use it. It goes off the side. They don't have any way to counter Prosper, though. So this is going to be the same amount of stalling that we saw beforehand. They managed to get Logi. They are still alive in the back line. They have the Grover. They have the Khan. And more than anything, they have the Imani. Backs up once again. Manages to get the heal as well. The Dragon rips through. And this is now she's on the hunt, looking for any opportunity. Forces out the Furia. She's running her down. She's not giving her an opportunity to escape. That's an immortal kill streak. An 11 streak for the Imani, coming right on back to the objective. They're looking for more fights, more opportunities to see how they can win. The Frost Bomb stops the shoulder bash. If they can make this work for them, they can end up taking this. They have to make it to 3. Whirlwind comes through and keeps everybody alive. Khan's still there. The Frost Bomb goes out. It gets a little bit of sustainability, but when the smoke clears, the bullets are back in the clip. We have a 2-3 for Octavia.
These guys they did really well. The dome at the end there. The Ashel was really clean right after they used the overpower, so there's no way to counter it, not even at all. And you know, I think Octavia really deserved that mid.
Yeah, they did a great job, and they did a great job of holding on as well. Like you said, like the dome shield towards the tail end of that mid fight, really solidified things for them. Logi also being able to get the kills that he needs is also really important, but they have the Inflame following through. The shoulder bash goes in, trying to find more. They want to follow up off of the back of that Dread Serpent, but they can't get much in. They know that they have the Assert Dominance. He doesn't want to get overpowered or anything of the sort. The Frost Bomb barely misses, trying to stop Prosper from escaping, and they're rolling the cart right on through. Frog, this is looking like a potential 3-3 right now. It's hard for Sophia to fight back at this current point in time. Shoulder bashes her way at least out of line of sight, but she can't really be punished as heavily. They're still holding on though. They've got 1 minute and 5 so far for Octavia to work, but that Khan kill might be the story here. 2 of them are low. Etsu's low. Prosper still escapes, and they're still holding on. They're not conceding the advantage that they've had. That double heal is coming in clutch right now, as they're still holding their ground. They even get nosy a little bit early. That burst, that Tiberius blade, the heavy blade is huge. They use the whirlwind to try to keep everybody alive, but it's still not enough for them to be able to do that. Tiberius is locked in a 1v1, obviously, with the Khan, but he's going to go down. Logi done so. Even still, it's becoming a lot harder for them to try and hold on to this. They've got 36 seconds left, and the fights are still going either way.
Yeah, I mean, I've mentioned so frequently today, they don't want to use the ults on the side of Octavia, or else they're going to be going into a 3-3 without ults. But I don't even know if they can contest this now, because, you know, Sophia's just done such a good job handling the aggression. Even if they lost Nosy there, the rest of the team really held it together and decided to just, hey, we're not going to let you guys even go near this cart. Doing a great job holding this last choke.
Look for right now, they got 3 seconds, and Etsu can make it back. A couple more that are a little bit stalwart in terms of making their way back to the objective. Lewis become much of a sub. They get the first kill. So this is looking good. Logi manages to get one. Inferno Cannon ripping past the Fernando, trying to see if they can find the opponents in front of them. They get rid of Mathers, and now Big has to find some sort of way out. He has the overpower. They're just going to hold on to the ultimates.
Wow.
This is it, folks.
Look at, we see so many bulldozers on their side too now. It looks like that Imani Dragon's really doing fuck all.
Yeah, like look at
so much healing from this Grover too. 250k now in 17 minutes.
They have to stop it.
Take it away.
So far, it seems like things are starting off pretty strong. They want to try and play Ring Around the Rosie here. Ash has Assert Dominance and looking for better opportunities to see if they can try and find a pick. Androxus is extremely low. They still get King Nick. And the Dragon comes through. They have the Bulldozer, though. If they get a pick on Logi here, that would be huge, but they don't. Use the Blade Dance instead to escape. Has to maneuver the Dragon well enough. It's ripping through the opponents on the point, but even still, it gets killed. They're still waiting for their opportunity here. As Khan, at this point, can't afford to wait for Ash to use that Assert Dominance. He has to try and find some sort of way to kill her instantly or get some sort of pick. They need it. They still are holding on to quite a few ultimates. Fernando makes it there. He has to pop the Immortal as soon as he gets there, and he does. The Accursed Arm as well is huge. In this choke point area, they have to back off, and immediately Fernando's still pretty low. Prosper's in the back, and they have their ultimates. They use the fear and force them back. The Assert Dominance as well, and tosses one off. That's a 1-for-1. We're looking at a 4v4 now. We're looking at a 4v3 now. Nosy finds one on Friezo, and Logi's already low. The Inferno Cannon comes through, and they're still trying to fight back. Ash on the point. Prosper and Logic doing what he can. Frost Bomb, so you can't go anywhere. They've taken advantage over this point, and Octavia still have a chance to try and make it back.
Oh my god.
Oh, never mind. No, they don't. They don't have a chance to make it back. Alex gets picked off. So that means that they're going to end up losing this fight. Sophia have taken this one. Blade Dance, will he make it in time? He will. But the Frost Bomb, it makes it just barely. He manages to get the overtime, just enough time to cause his team to funnel in. They're touching. Etsu still on the point. Androxus is low. King Nick is still alive, but manages to escape. Sophia take this 3-0 in our first best of 5.
Wow, what an insane last mid. What incredible last mid.
What an
That was
insane
so
game.
so
Wow,
good,
bro.
dude.